Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Disa Oktora Sakinah. I'm from EED 5C class, and in this video I will like to present my proposal. The title is The Effect of Using English Song on Students' Speaking Ability at State Senior High School to Bangkinang City. Okay, in this video I would like to explain the background of the problem. Speaking is important for students to practice their capability and their understanding, how to send idea and how to spell word well. According to researchers' observation, it was found that many students still have problem in speaking skill. The problem frequently found in that they rarely practice to use English to communicate. According to Bailey, 2005, speaking is a process of interaction where speakers intend to build meaning through producing, receiving, and processing information. Some of students have lack of vocabulary and confused with what they want to say more because they do not know the English words. Some of students not confident for their speaking performance because they are worried about making mistakes. And some students are not used to speak English in daily life. Formulation of the problem. The first is how to effect of the student speaking ability before using English song at State Senior High School to Bangkinang City. The second is how is the effect of student speaking ability after using English song at State Senior High School to Bangkinang City. And the third is there any significant effect of using English song on student speaking ability at State Senior High School to Bangkinang City? Okay, the next is theoretical framework. The first is speaking. Harmer 2007 states that there are three main reasons for making students speak in class. The first is speaking activities provide training opportunities to practice speaking in real life in a safe class. Second is speaking assignments where students try to use one or all of the language. They now provide feedback for lecturer and students. And the third is the more students have the opportunity to active the various elements of the language they have stored in their brains, the more their use of these elements will automatically. And the second is English song. A song, according to Jejueli 2011, is a short composition in one brief movement for the medium of solo voice and piano. He goes on to say that song is a group arrangement made up of lyric and musical elements such as rhythm, melody, harmony, and expressiveness. The third is speaking ability. Harris 2069 states the ability to speak a foreign language is the most prized skill because someone who can speak a language will also be able to understand it. On the other hand, Nunan 1991 states that to most people, mastering the art of speaking is the single most important factor of learning a second or foreign language, and success is measured in terms of the ability to carry out a conversation in the language. Speaking ability as the ability to use in essentially normal communication, stress, grammatical structure, and vocabulary of the foreign language at normal rate delivery for native speakers of the language. Okay, the next is conceptual framework. The conceptual framework shows effect of using English song to students' speaking ability in order to clarify the theories that are used in this research. The research wants to explain about the variable of this research. This research in quantitative research which focuses on students' speaking ability using English song through speaking tests. Thus, the writer uses two variables in this research. The writer will work based on following indicator according to some researches. Okay, next is research design. The design of this research is using quantitative research. The research used the experimental design because according to Creswell 2012, experiments are controlled. They are based of the quantitative design to use to establish probable cause and effect. It was used to carry out actions to improve the student speaking ability of SMA and 2 Bangkinang Kota. Here, the writer used quantitative or statistic value to processing all of the data, includes collecting the data, identifying the data until analyzing the data. That means in the processing the data, the writer used number, tables, and age. Okay, the next is setting of the research. This research will conduct and State Senior High School 2 Bangkinang Kota. It is located on A. Rahman Saleh Street from January until February 2022 in academic year 2022 or 2023. The writer selected the place because the location of this research facilitates the writer to conduct the research. And the participant of this research is there will five classes of senior major of state senior high school to Bangkinang Kota, and the writer only choose two classes consist of five 50 students because the writer selected the participant purposely. The writer will use purposive sampling in this research. Purpose sampling is one of the non-random sampling techniques where the researcher determines the sampling by determining specific characteristics that are in accordance with the research objective so that it is expected to be able to answer research programs. According to Sugiono 2010, purposive sampling is a technique for determining research sampling with certain consideration aimed and making the data obtained more representative. Okay, next the technique of collecting the data. In this research, the writer used two types of techniques in collecting the data. Two types of technique in collecting the data were questionnaire and interview. The first is questionnaire. The writer used questionnaire as the first technique of the research. The technique used to collect the data of how the effect of English song on student speaking ability at State Senior High School 2 Bangkinang Kota consists to 10-1 and 10-2 social class. This technique helps the writer to get the information that related to purpose of the research. The writer want to know about how students speaking ability use English song at State Senior High School to Bangkinang Kota. The questionnaire guidelines. The first is problem in students' English speaking ability. The second is student speaking ability before using English song, and the third is student speaking ability after using English song. And the second technique is interview. After collecting in the data from questionnaire, the researchers did an interview to get the information and together the data from the participant in their own words. The writer called the students one by one to be interviewed with interview questions. For this interview, the writer used the free interview. The free interview do not need to prepare an answer, but respondents are free to express their opinion. And then interview guideline question is, what are problems in your English speaking ability and affect the using English song on your English speaking ability? Okay, the next is technique of the data analysis. The writer will analyze the student's collection from questionnaire and student interview. The first analysis the writer analyzes is questionnaire using SPSS of what are students' problem in speaking ability and the effect of students' English speaking using English song. The second, analyzing the result of students' interview. This analysis is to identify problems in students' English speaking and to improve students' speaking ability using English song. In analyzing the data interview adapt from Creswell 2012, namely the first is preparing and organizing the data for analysis, exploring and coding data, coding the build descriptions and terms, representing and reporting qualitative findings, and interpreting the findings, validating the accuracy of the findings. Okay, I think that's all for my presentation of my proposal in this video. Thank you for your attention. Sorry for my mistake. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.